Deadly Hollow, a forest where anyone who enters is never seen again. Chris, a famous YouTuber, decided to take on the challenge of exploring it. He was known for completing extreme horror challenges on his channel, such as spending nights alone in abandoned houses, live streaming from haunted locations, and exploring graveyards at midnight. But this time, someone had dared him to spend the night in Deadly Hollow. For several days, strange news had been coming from that forest. A 13-year-old YouTuber who went into the forest to complete a challenge has gone missing. At night, terrifying sounds echoed near Deadly Hollow. This forest had gone viral on YouTube. Every YouTuber was making videos about it. 10 secrets of Deadly Hollow that will shake you to your core. My uncle heard this terrifying sound near Deadly Hollow at night, meeting the family of the YouTuber who disappeared in the dark forest. Chris's team was called the Midnight Hunters. Besides him, there were 3 others: Susie, Lisa, and Carl. Normally, they were thrilled to explore any location, but this time, just hearing the name Deadly Hollow made them uneasy. Especially Lisa. She insisted it wasn't just rumors. Everything about this place was true. Even a YouTuber who had ventured there to complete a challenge hadn't returned in over a month. Not even the authorities across the USA could find him. Local police had also strictly forbidden anyone from entering Deadly Hollow, limiting searches to the forest edge. They were still discussing when another piece of news came up. A fire broke out in Deadly Hollow last night. The locals have confirmed it. Since then, another man who had entered the forest has gone missing. The moment she heard this, Lisa flatly refused to go. Chris nodded and said it was fine. If anyone didn't want to come, he would go alone. But as soon as he said that, Carl stepped forward and made it clear he wouldn't let Chris go by himself. If Chris was going, he was going too. Susie, who had no desire to go at all, hesitated for a long moment, then reluctantly agreed. Before leaving, the 3 of them recorded what they called their last vlog for the channel. We are going to find out the secret of Deadly Hollow. Whether this is just someone's trick, or if there is really something here that is beyond human control. If we don't return, then understand, this forest has trapped us forever, and no one should come to save us. Carl added that they would try to keep sharing updates as long as they could, but there was no way to know when their cameras might suddenly shut off. And then the 3 of them set off, leaving Lisa behind. As she watched them disappear into the distance, a heavy wave of guilt washed over her. Lisa was a core member of the Midnight Hunters. She had been part of every mission, but this time, she couldn't control her fear. Her sixth sense was warning her about many things, but was her decision the right one? That, she would only find out in the end. Finally, the Midnight Hunters reached the forest. The atmosphere was so terrifying that it felt as if the entire forest was watching only the 3 of them. Caught up in excitement, Chris started recording the video and began speaking. He said that they had finally reached the place, and for now, it just looked like a normal forest. No sooner had Chris spoken than a sudden scream echoed through the forest. Startled, his phone slipped from his hands, and without thinking, he ran toward the sound. But when he reached the spot, there was nothing there. As they continued moving forward, Susie suddenly tripped over something and fell to the ground. What they saw next left them all in shock. A half-burned old skull embedded in the earth. Chris quickly turned on the camera and the group cautiously moved ahead. Suddenly, smoke began rising from that spot. Thick, white smoke, as if some old fire was burning deep within the ground. The wind was strong, and with every breath, the smoke seemed to grow thicker and more suffocating. Carl and Susie started to run back, but Chris stopped them, insisting he wouldn't let this opportunity slip away. People had often seen fires burning in the distance near this forest, but today felt different, and they were deep inside it. A strange tension hung in the air, and Chris felt an unsettling excitement, as if he was finally about to uncover the secret hidden within the heart of the forest. Then, they began to see the fire. They kept moving, but no matter how far they went, it seemed impossible to reach it. The flames appeared real, yet untouchable. They stopped for a moment to rest, but what happened next was beyond anyone's imagination, something no one could have ever predicted. Suddenly, flames erupted from the ground. The very spot where they had been sitting seconds ago was now ablaze. The fire raged fiercely, transforming the entire forest around them. Red light flickered everywhere. Thick smoke filled the air, and the acrid smell of burning wood was overwhelming. Breathing became difficult, and tears streamed down their eyes from the smoke. All three panicked and started running in every direction. Their feet kept slipping, struggling to find solid ground. Sometimes a burning tree blocked their path. Other times, the ground became so hot that standing was almost impossible. The fire seemed to follow them relentlessly, as if someone, or something, was deliberately chasing them. Meanwhile, the smoke grew thicker, reducing visibility to almost nothing. In the chaos, Susie fell behind. The dense smoke completely enveloped her. Seconds later, the spot where she had been was visible only as a raging fire, leaving no trace of where she had stood moments before. Once that part of the forest was left behind, an eerie silence fell everywhere. The ground still burned, trees were ablaze, and smoke hung thickly in the air. There was no sign of Susie. It had been impossible to tell whether she had been burned in the fire or had managed to escape. Desperate, Chris and Carl quickly tried to put out the flames. Luckily, the fire died down, and they felt immense relief. Susie wasn't there. Or else all they would have found was her charred body. Then they started moving back, hopefully to find Susie. They walked carefully, but there was no trace of her. Realizing this, they decided to move beyond the burned area, thinking she might have managed to get ahead somehow. They were walking when suddenly, Carl felt like someone was following him. He turned around, but no one was there. The forest was completely silent. Then, out of nowhere, a voice echoed through the trees. "Everyone will burn, and everything will turn to ash." When he turned around, a terrifying woman was standing there. It was hard to even make out her face. Her entire body seemed to be burned. In an instant, Carl realized that it wasn't Susie. He wanted to ask the woman so many things, but the words got stuck in his throat. He tried with all his strength, but not a single word came out. In that very moment, he suddenly lost consciousness. Chris, who was walking ahead, had no idea what had just happened behind him. Panicking, he told Carl to randomly start his phone camera, only to notice that Carl wasn't there. Fear gripped him tightly. He was now completely alone in this terrifying forest. He wanted to run, to escape the nightmare, but he couldn't abandon his team members. Determined, he began shouting loudly, calling out Carl's name. Suddenly, someone touched him from behind. Relief washed over him. He was sure it was Carl, but the reality was far from what he had hoped. 10 days had passed, and the Midnight Hunters still hadn't returned. To be honest, the police hadn't conducted a proper investigation since they hadn't ventured deep into the forest. They didn't want to risk their lives. A year went by, and the group never came back. But Lisa, she had dedicated herself to uncovering the forest secrets. She uploaded numerous videos on her channel, sharing everything she had learned about the forest. One particular video stood out, revealed the entire truth. Lisa exposed the terrifying history of the forest. She had even included the recordings that Chris had uploaded to his channel while they were inside the forest. This had all happened back in 1926, long before the place was known as Deathly Hollow. Back then, it was just called Cedar Creek, a beautiful, peaceful valley where travelers from across the country would come to explore its forests, streams, and rolling hills. But the valley had a dark secret. A wealthy landowner from a nearby town wanted to take over the land. He tried to force his way in with his men, but he failed, and the whole town laughed at his defeat. Humiliated and burning with rage, he plotted the ultimate revenge. One night, while everyone in Cedar Creek slept, he set the entire valley ablaze. The flames spread like wildfire, claiming the lives of children, elders, men and women, everyone. Except the local matriarch, whose mansion somehow remained untouched. The next day, the landowner took his revenge on the matriarch as well, and Cedar Creek became the infamous Deathly Hollow. As for Chris, Carl, and Susie, they may never uncover the full truth. Or maybe they will. And if they do, we'll reveal it in part 2. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any updates.